What's up, XUFcinema? Youngone here with a very exciting tutorial today, and I must say I'm very pleased with the results I've gotten from this tutorial. So, let's begin. First, what you want to do, create your composition. Do whatever resolution you prefer, and this is going to be a pretty short tutorial, or the results will be very short, so make it about 5 seconds, 7 at least. So, you have your composition. Now, go on the internet and search for any background you might be interested in. I was interested in this background because it's very bright and has many effects to it. So what you want to do is grab that background, drag it down to the composition layer, and so it'll pop up here. Might be a little big for some people, so scale it to whatever size you like. And now it's pretty stationary, so what you want to do what I did to vivify this is I went to my effects and presets, animation presets, backgrounds, went all the way to fog lights, and then what you want to do here is go to layer, new, solid, and create a new background for this fog light that's about to be added in. Name it fog if you're going to use this, and drag the fog file into it. Now you have this fog. Now you wondering where the background went, all you have to do is go down, click this arrow, click transform, then drag the opacity down, and you see your map start to appear. And now if you drag forward, you can kind of see the fog moving, just to give the glares in the background picture as if they're moving, even though they're really not. Still, we can imagine. So you want to kind of drag this to where it's actually moving right when it's there. So yeah, now what I did next was I created some new text. Let's add 2 new texts for armor and weapon. So you're going to type armor, double click the next one, type weapon, weapons. Alright, now just space these out so you kind of know what you're doing. And next what you want to do is create 2 new layers, and we will be naming these block, because they will be both going behind the letters armor and weapons. Now what you want to do is click this rounded rectangle tool, just hold and click, drag it, and do the rounded rectangle, and make a little rectangle about the size of the word you're putting it behind. And now once you get that, click your cursor and move it right over this. Now your armor's disappeared. Simply solve this by moving it on top of block. And now what you want to do is click block, Control D, and duplicate it. Now you have another one, and drag it over to weapons. Same thing, drag the weapons word over block, and now they're both over it. Now to add some color to both of these, you can click shift and click on block, and now they'll both be selected. Go to effects, generate, and ramp. Now this will add 2 kind of colors that are blended into each other, and do whatever one you're interested in. Since my background's blue, I'll do blue on lighter blue, or kind of darker blue. Whatever you prefer is alright. And do the start of ramp just to kind of blend it in whatever direction you like, and do it for this one as well. And now you have your 2 little things. And now, just to save time from having to set up each one when you're trying to scale it later, you want to click on weapons, shift, click on block, and go to layer, pre-compose, and just name it weapons. So now you just have one full thing. And do the same thing for armor and block. If they're kind of separated, just do control and then click block, layer, pre-compose, name it armor. And now you just saved a lot of time. So now to give it that more selective feel, what you want to do is scale both of these, and what you want to do is leave the armor one as it is. So as you're saying, the armor is already being selected, and later you're going to switch to the weapons. So what you want to do is scale the weapons down, maybe move it over a little bit, and make sure you're timing both of the scales, so later if you're switching to the weapons you want it to kind of pop up at you. And so what you're going to do is over time you're going to have this be scaled down, and while it's scaling down, weapons will be scaling up. You might want to move this a little bit forward. And so when you're previewing it, armor's going down while weapons going up, as if you just switched to it. So now what we're going to do is give both armor and weapons a more selective type of feel, as if they're actually being selected or deselected. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of glow to it by first clicking armor, effects, stylize, then glow. Now you can see armor just got a little brighter, and since it's already being selected, you want it to be in its glow already. So we're going to increase the glow intensity. Oh, and while you're doing this, make sure your glow is being tracked. So track all of these, or tick all of them. And so make sure you're messing with these to make them a little bit brighter. And then as it's draining or going down, you want to kind of give it less glow, as if it's being deselected. So you're going to go up more and bring the glow intensity down. So now it's darker, as if it's not there anymore, but it's still there. And you want to do the same thing with weapons, but since it started out darker, you're going to make it brighter when it gets closer. So you're going to do the same thing, effects, stylize, and glow. And since it started here, you want to go to effects, glow, and once again track all of these, but you're starting here this time, since this is the point where the weapon starts coming in. And now since it's gaining its scale, you want to, right when it stops about here, that's when you want to give it more glow, as if it's being selected. Then you want to make the intensity a little bit higher, and maybe the radius a little bit brighter. And so now when you're previewing it, armor is draining as it's being deselected, and weapon is gaining for its selection. Now you might want to move these three, the last one of the weapons, up and down, so when the weapons is at its point, or at its stopping point, it's still kind of glowing, as if it has its anxiety to be selected later. So you might want to move it up a little bit, and so when it stops, it keeps glowing. And so at the point of selection, as if you're about to select it, you want to give it a kind of a bump. And so what you want to do is shorten the effects, go to transform, and hit this button so it doesn't move until you move up a little bit, and then start scaling it again. So you might move it up a little bit and then scale it up, give it another keyframe, and then scale it back down to where it once was. I think it was at 94. And so when you preview it, it's glowing, then goes up and down as if it's being selected.